Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to the Bhagavad Gita chapter summary series. And happy Nityanand Trayodashi to everybody. So, today we will be discussing the chapter summary of chapter number 12. The title of chapter number 12 is Devotional Service. We have been hearing this word devotional service since the past almost six chapters of Bhagavad Gita, and we are calling it as the treasure of Bhagavad Gita. So, we need to understand that this devotional service can be offered only to one person. Devotional service cannot be offered to anybody else except who? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, there are three things: Supreme, topmost, personality as in a person, and Godhead. Okay, it cannot, devotional service cannot be done for demigods. It is called worship. It cannot be done with an impersonal form of the Lord where there is no form, obviously. How can you do reciprocation? It cannot be done offered to light, universe, or different forms. Okay, or any other worshipable entities. The only person who's entitled to receive this service, devotional service, is who? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore, today's acronym that we have for this chapter is SPOG, Supreme Personality of Godhead, SPOG. Okay. So, what does S stand for? Stands for superior. Okay. P stands for personal form of the Lord. O stands for options, and G stands for glories of a devotee. Okay, again, S, superior, P, personal form, O, options, and G, glories of a devotee. So, in the beginning of the chapter, as most of the chapters in Bhagavad Gita, starts with Arjuna asking a question to Krishna. What is the question that Arjuna is asking here? He asks that uh, which are considered to be more perfect. So when it is more perfect, meaning it is a comparison. He's asking two categories. First one is those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, Krishna. Or option number two is those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested, which means he's actually asking Krishna to make a comparison between those who are engaged in devotional service, meaning the devotees, and those who worship the impersonal Brahman, meaning who? The impersonalists. He's asking who is more perfect amongst the two, who is superior. So we need to understand he's asking more perfect, which means both are perfect. But which one is more perfect? Yeah, it's not that one is not perfect and another one is. Both are perfect, but which one is more perfect? He's asking like that. So Krishna starts to answer this question. So that was S, superior, asking who is which one, which of the two options are superior. So P, personal form, SPOG, superior personal form, options and glories of devotee. So P stands for personal form. In the next five shlokas of this chapter, that is 12.2 to 12.7. Um, so Krishna answers this question that Arjuna has asked, that which one is more perfect. So Krishna says clearly in the beginning itself, he's picking his choice very clearly. Those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great transcendental faith are considered to be most perfect. Most perfect. He's not even saying more perfect. Now he's saying most perfect. Above all. Meaning if you bring other options also no later, that also amongst all the options, I will pick these people who have fixed their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me. This is what Krishna is saying, that these people are the most perfect. Which means who? Which means the devotees. The devotees are the most perfect. This is Krishna's opinion. Okay, he's saying that. He's saying they are considered by me to be most perfect. Krishna is considering them most perfect. I'm not saying that. Okay, so then Krishna goes to make a comparison between these two options which Arjuna has given, between the devotees and the impersonalists. Reminding you again, both are perfect, but we are just saying which one is better. So Krishna clearly says over here, the impersonalists also achieve me. But he's saying the impersonalists also at last achieve me. Okay, so gradually, finally, the impersonalist will achieve Krishna. And how do they do that? How do they try to achieve Krishna? By controlling the various senses, by being equipoised towards everybody, and engaging in the welfare of all. These are the activities of impersonalist. Okay, by following these activities, they try to achieve Krishna. However, it is a very difficult process, especially for the conditioned souls, those who are embodied jivas. For them, this process is very difficult. Controlling the senses is so difficult. Seeing everybody equally, being equipoised to everybody, so difficult. Engaging in the welfare of others. We don't know what is for good for us, what is better for us, what is our welfare, what to engage in the welfare of others. So this process for the conditioned souls who are bewildered, it's very difficult, Krishna is saying. But for the devotees, Krishna is a swift deliverer. From what? Delivering from what? From the ocean of birth and death. This cycle of Janma and Mrityu in which the conditioned soul is trapped. Krishna is a very swift deliverer if one becomes a devotee. And what do devotees do? We said impersonalists, they do A, B, C. What do devotees do to achieve Krishna? What is their activity? First, they worship Krishna. They give up all their activities unto Krishna, and being devoted to Krishna with devotion, they are engaged in devotional service, and they are always meditating upon Krishna. Meaning their minds are actually fixed on Krishna, nothing else. They are continuing their daily activities just like you will see any other person does it, but the only difference is their mind is always focused on Krishna. So that is a devotee. Then Krishna gives options like, what if someone cannot fix their mind upon Krishna? So can he not become a devotee? So Krishna is giving options like a hierarchy. So he says the best thing ultimately is to do is just to fix your mind upon me and engage all your intelligence in me. So fix your mind and engage all your intelligence in Krishna. That is the first step. But suppose if somebody cannot fix their mind, then Krishna is giving option two. What he's saying that if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then what you need to do? You need to follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, there will be a desire at least to attain Krishna. Okay, what if first is to fix your mind on Krishna and engage your intelligence. If you cannot do that, then just what you do, follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. What are the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga? This chanting, and reading and listening to lectures, preaching, all this with the part, the Mangla program that Prabhupada has given us. Wake up early in the morning and do the Mangla Arati, Narsimha Arati, Tulsi Arati, then read the Srimad Bhagavatam, and like we have these festivals, like we have today, observe fasting, all of these principles of Bhakti Yoga, and of course to maintain cleanliness, austerity, and all of that by not consuming any meat and not gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication. So all of these things are principles of Bhakti Yoga. So if you cannot constantly fix your mind upon Krishna, then just simply follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. But people of Kali Yuga will say, no, no, this is very difficult. I cannot wake up in the morning. It is too cold. Mataji, don't give so difficult things. Okay, then Krishna understands. Okay, not everybody can do that. So he will give you another option. Okay, then Krishna will say, if you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just what you have to do is just try to work for me. Okay. So, Krishna is saying first, fix your mind upon me. नहीं होता है. Okay. Then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. वो भी नहीं होता है तुमसे. ठीक है भाई. Then just try to work for me. हाँ, जो भी काम कर रहे हो मेरे लिए करो. But if you are not able to do that also, I'm not able to think about Krishna, whatever, wherever I'm working. I'm not able to think this is for Krishna, this activity. I want to do something for me also, for my senses also. Okay, no problem. That is also. If you cannot do that also, you are unable to work in this consciousness of Krishna, then try to act in a way where you give up all the results of your work. ठीक तो मतलब अगर ऑफिस जा रहे हो और ये नहीं सोच पा रहे हो कि ओके आई एम डूइंग दिस बिजनेस और दिस जॉब फॉर कृष्णा देन व्हाट यू डू यू गिव अप द रिजल्ट्स वॉट एवर यू आर अर्निंग फ्रॉम दैट एक्टिविटी दैट यू गिव इट अप फॉर कृष्णा यू यूज इट इन कृष्णा सर्विस बोलेगा बाप रे, सारा सैलरी कृष्णा के लिए दे दूं? ओके, नहीं होगा, ठीक है, वो भी नहीं हो रहा है. Then Krishna is saying, no problem. You renounce the fruits of action. Okay, you don't consider yourself as the owner and proprietor of all these fruits that you're getting from the activity. नहीं होएगा. ओके, देन व्हाट यू डू? मेडिटेशन. वो भी नहीं होएगा. अरे भाई, एटलीस्ट कल्टिवेट सम नॉलेज. हाँ, रीड द स्क्रिप्चर्स, अटेंड द क्लासेस, गेट सम नॉलेज. वो तो कर लो. हाँ, अभी इससे नीचे बोले ये भी नहीं होएगा, तो इसके नीचे का ऑप्शन कृष्णा ने नहीं दिया. ठीक है. सो फर्स्ट ऑप्शन व्हाट ही गेव वाज, just try to fix your mind upon me without deviation, full attention to Krishna. Okay. And but if you cannot do that, then what you have to do? Regulative principles of bhakti yoga follow करो. भाई वो भी नहीं हो रहा है तुमसे. Okay, then what? Just try to work for me. Whatever work you are doing, that is for Krishna. वो भी नहीं हो रहा है. Then what you have to do? Then you have to give up, give up the results of your work for Krishna. वो भी नहीं हो रहा है. Renunciation of the fruits of action, वो भी नहीं तो meditation, and वो भी नहीं तो cultivation of knowledge. So like that, he is giving options. ठीक है. And finally, at the end of the chapter, in the last 7 shlokas, he's saying, and this is a very small chapter, just 20 shlokas. So in the last shlokas of this chapter, last 7 verses from 13 to 20, he's describing the glories of a devotee, how glorious is a devotee. He's mentioning the list of qualities of a devotee. So let's check if this is like a checklist for us. If you say yes, check, 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 then you are a devotee. If you say cross, 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 not a devotee. Okay, let's start. First one, not envious. You don't have any jealousy against anyone. Why a devotee is not envious? Because he knows that ultimately who's the supreme enjoyer? Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. I am not the enjoyer. Ultimate enjoyer is the Lord. So if I think that there is nothing for me to enjoy in this, why will I even be jealous of somebody? Because I don't want to enjoy anything. The jealousy factor comes, the envy comes only when I want something over somebody else, right? So the devotee is non-envious. Second, he is a very kind friend to all living entities. Just not just all humans, but all living entities, be it any insect, bird, beast. He's kind to all the living entities. Okay. Then third one, he does not think himself to be a proprietor, and he is free from false ego. A big one. Here again, because the devotee thinks that ultimate proprietor, the proprietor of all planets, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, is Krishna. I am not the proprietor. Whatever I so-called own, my house, my car, my titles, whatever I have, my family, it's not mine. It's actually Krishna's, and I am just a trustee of these things, which again needs to be used in the service of Krishna. The devotee understands this fact and lives this fact, and that is why he is free from false ego. He doesn't think karta hamiti manyate. No, he knows that ultimately everything is happening by the sanction of the Lord. It's not that whatever, even if he has achieved a lot of things, it's all by the mercy, unconditional mercy of the Lord. He understands that. Then the devotee is equal in both happiness and distress. We have been speaking about this person called Sthita Pragya right from chapter number 2, and we have been discussing this person in various different chapters also. He's equal in both happiness and distress. Then another quality of a devotee, very important one, is he is tolerant. Okay, we know this very famous verse from Shiksha Ashtakam, the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where it said that Trinadapi Sunijena Taroriva Sahishnuna Amanina Mandena Kirtanya Sadahari. Trinadapi Sunijena Taror Eva Sahishnuna, meaning that one should be more humble than a blade of grass, and one should be more tolerant than a tree. Hmm. And he should not expect any respect for himself but offer respect to others. When we are in this mood, only then can we chant the names of the Lord. Okay, so the devotee is very tolerant, more tolerant than a tree. Yeah, and he is always satisfied. Of course, if you have all of these qualities, what is there to upset you? You will be so satisfied, irrespective of whatever condition you are in, right? And the devotee is self-controlled. He is not agitated by the mind and senses, the desires of the mind and senses. He is very self-controlled, and he is somebody. The devotee is somebody who doesn't put anybody else in difficulty. Okay, consciously he doesn't intend to put somebody in a or upset somebody's mind. Okay, and at the same time he himself also doesn't get offended or upset by anybody else. He doesn't get disturbed by anybody else's action. Okay, not really somebody can hurt him. He hasn't given this remote control to somebody else to be able to offend or disturb his mind. Okay, and he's equipoised in happiness and distress, fear, anxiety, free from all pains. Like we have seen, like so many sannyasis in our sampradaya. Uh, Physically speaking, you will see that they are in so many diseases, illness, disabilities. But when you meet them, when you talk to them, they are always in this transcendental pleasure. If we were to have a little bit of headache, stomach ache, or some illnesses, it's so difficult, huh? We become so cranky, so disturbed. But this devotee, he is free from all pains, whether it be physical pain, whether it be mental pain. The devotee is always free. You will see that the reports, like the medical reports, will show so many illnesses. But however, you will, when you meet this person, you will always see that he is so happy. बोले ऐसे लग ही नहीं रहा है कि कुछ हुआ है, वैसा वाला. Normally, when there is a sick person who has illness or disability, people don't like to be around them. Okay, even the servants who are paid for serving or helping this kind of a ill person, normally they don't like to be around them. Even for higher salaries or money or any other rewards, they are just so done and frustrated because of being in their association. But when you see a devotee, even though externally you will see that he's in pain, but the other people, his servants, they don't want to leave him. That is how a devotee is. So Krishna is saying the devotee is free from all pains. We can see, especially in the example of my Guru Maharaj Jayapataka Swami. He is almost wheelchair bound for decades together, but still, when you meet him, when you talk to him, you wouldn't feel that he is in pain. Okay, and then the devotee is pure, he is expert in everything. Let's take the example of Srila Prabhupada. When I say a devotee is pure and expert, I could think of nobody else than Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was an expert in everything, be it business, be it people handling, be it interviews, media, temple constructions, finance, anything. Okay, he was such an expert. Even arbitration between the devotees, he was such an expert in everything and so pure, huh? No selfish intentions, nothing for himself. And a devotee is without cares. He doesn't care about anything else or anyone else. Why? Because he knows he has full faith in the assurance given by the Lord. So why would he be worried or he would care about something else? And the devotee is not striving for some result, because the devotees are not outcome oriented; they are action oriented. Just like Krishna was explaining to Arjuna that you just fight, don't think about the victory or the loss. So they are not outcome oriented. They are just activity or action oriented, or just to be precise, to service oriented. And then Krishna lists another quality of the devotee where he says the devotee neither rejoices nor grieves, never laments nor desires, and renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. Again, then we are talking about somebody who is equanimous. And to add to it, he says this devotee is somebody who is equal to friends and enemies. First devotee doesn't have any enemies, but somebody who considers the devotee to be an enemy. So in that terms, enemy. Then he's equipoised in honor, dishonor, heat, cold, happiness, distress, fame, and infamy. Yeah, so honor, dishonor, yes, man, samman, apman, jo bhi ho, because he's following Trinada Pisuni Chena, which we just discussed about. And heat and cold, mostly, especially if you go to Vrindavan, so you will notice that there are extreme weathers. When it's summer, it's extremely hot, and when there is winter, it's extremely cold. But the devotees, they are equipoised, irrespective of whatever it is, they continue their services. Okay, and fame and infamy doesn't matter to the devotee. Uh, The devotee is always free from contaminating association, and he is silent and satisfied with anything. But silence for devotees is not just refraining from talking. Silence for devotees is actually chanting the holy names of the Lord continuously and not doing any prajalpa or talking about any other mundane stuff. Then he doesn't care for any residence. Okay. And he is fixed in knowledge. And the most important quality which Krishna ends the chapter with of a devotee is the in the list of the glories of devotee is that the devotee is very, very dear to Krishna. Okay, so that is how Krishna ends this chapter. So this was like a good long checklist of where we are in the definition of devotee. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for your time and participation. If anybody has any questions, comments, feel free to unmute yourself. We'll call it a session here. Hare Krishna. Thank you.